So for a long time, I've always been interested in technology. I was a science researcher, and I just enjoyed technology and having efficiency in a home. So our house was super insulated, so we've added insulation all around, and I thought the next progression was to have solar on the roof if possible. I was looking for a company with good reviews, so I actually interviewed many companies. I probably interviewed a dozen companies or more, all in the Philly area, and I kept coming back to Exact Solar. They weren't my installer. I had someone else install, but they went out of business. So I had to go through the same process again, and that's what made it work with us. The reason I like them is that they are very responsive, they have good reviews, and they also do some community service, which I like to volunteer as well, and I appreciate that they do that, and I think it's a great tactic. When I knew I wanted someone to help maintain it, I searched all around way before I had an actual need. I actually interviewed about a dozen companies. They fit the bill for responsiveness, good reviews, and having good prices. Some of the things that made me choose them was they were very responsive. Some contractors don't get back to you, but they always did. And in fact, the owner actually came out a couple times, and he actually helped do some of the work on it when we had like some rodent damage, and he took care of that. And then there was one other incident where something needed to be repaired, and he was able to come out and help us get that done. So our solar is 44 panels. It's about 11 kilowatt annual production. And we've had it for 14 years in November, pretty good long time, as well as two other neighbors. We all got them around the same ballpark time. I'm happy to say that it's made the break-even point for us, so we're actually way ahead of the game at this point. And that was one of our initial criteria, was to have a break-even point somewhere around 10 years or so. And it took a couple of years longer, but it still made a break-even. It's doing well for us. The other thing we have with is microinverters, so that if one panel is shaded somewhere, it doesn't affect the whole system. So every panel has a microinverter, and I can see the production on every panel. So it's a really nice feature to have. Initially, we interviewed many companies, and myself and two other neighbors kind of talked ourselves into it. Once we realized we could get a fairly good return on investment and break-even point, we figured it was worthwhile, and that's what allowed us to pull the trigger. But it was fairly easy. Most contractors will walk you right through everything. You always want to be aware of what your costs are, and all the contractors are very good at doing that, especially Exact Solar. Now, they took care of the process very well for us for any maintenance or anything like that. They're very helpful. We're able to make design changes as part of the actual process of putting things up. So originally we had two inverters, and then we went to microinverters, which allowed for the chimneys. We have two chimneys up there, so they won't affect it as much. So that process went very smooth. But whenever there's an issue for any maintenance, I can call up Exact Solar, and they can self-diagnose remotely. So that's very useful. They help interact with the company that maintains the SRECs. So, you know, they're a great middle person for taking care of that, keeping things go smooth. So everything is very smooth that way. By going solar, we know that we have our electricity and utility costs under control. That was one of our main reasons to get solar, was knowing that long term, the costs aren't going to increase that much. It keeps everything under control, makes a nice budget. In fact, PECO pays us back a little bit each year, so you can't beat that. Yeah, we've actually not had any real bill ever since we've installed solar. It's taken care of it that well. I would say just read up on everything, all your options. To me, one main thing I tell a lot of people is try to go with a company that will maintain it for you. You'll get a lower energy cost, but let them maintain it, as opposed to, for my system, it's owned outright because the company went bankrupt, and I have to kind of watch it. But otherwise, the main information is to just do a good research and understand your choices. You know, find a good company with a good reputation. That's what counts. Exact Solar does that.